Hello, and a very warm welcome to The Real Talk. We hope that you had a wonderful week. Thank you for sparing time to join us. We are extremely happy to be coming to you from Izere Arts and Media Hub. And the reason we're shooting from here today is because spaces like this are very dear to the person that we'll be talking to. Our guest today is Dr. Ron Adam, the Israel ambassador to Rwanda. I'm very happy to see you. How are you? Thank you for honoring our invitation.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, Ambassador Ron, you and I have been friends for a while, and I've seen people around you not sure whether to call you Dr. Ron, Ambassador Ron, call you Ambassador, or call you Ron. So I wonder, what do you want me to call you today?
You can call me Ron.
So I can call you Ron. Thank you. Thanks
you.
for honoring our invitation, Ron. 30 years in the foreign affairs and 30 plus. That's quite many years. Let's start this conversation with you telling us a little bit about that journey. How has it been for you?
Thank you. So it has been very good journey and very interesting. And recently I had to actually recommend about this journey to the newcomers of the ministry. So we do every year a campaign about joining the ministry, joining the foreign service, because we want to have the best ones. So we do a campaign with PR, with Twitter, with all the medias. And in this campaign, we call people to register to this big tender of newcomers. And we get 2,000 of them every year.
Okay.
And we choose 20, the best. So I had to write, and I actually tweeted about it in Hebrew this time because I had to write to those potential people to join. And I wrote that I had a very interesting career.
Yeah.
And I recommend it.
You recommend it.
Yeah. And in our system, you don't designate anyone to be anything as ambassador or whatever. We have you choose. There is a committee who choose you, and we are only those who compete. We are only career diplomats. So we are all many years in the ministry, many years as career diplomats, and we are chosen by a committee to certain jobs. So, so it is something that you don't bring people from outside.
They've got to be in the system.
Inside the system. So, yeah, so during the years, I have very interesting jobs. And I just telling my friends in Minafet that I always wanted to invent myself. So I really call everyone who listen, and especially the youth, invent yourself. Start thinking what you can do new, what you can invent. And what are you good at, and learn something in depth, and then benefit from your knowledge. Be the expert. After getting into a job, be an expert on this job. So during the years, I really invented myself. I did. In the beginning, I was involved in the peace process with our neighbors. Then I was in the UN. I had a very interesting career in the UN. I became the expert on UN, the first person in the ministry who always people come to him and ask about the UN.
You knew everything about the UN.
You cannot imagine.
Were you at the head office? Were you in some
head office?
Head office. Yeah.
I was in New York. I was in Geneva. I was in Paris. I was the head office in Jerusalem. So, and then I became something else. I became a special envoy on energy. So I learned about renewable energy, about oil and gas, and I became an expert about that. I mean, I was the ambassador of the government on energy.
Amazing.
And it was very interesting.
And what I love about that is the fact that it's possible for any one of us. Unfortunately, majority of us get in, and if I have excelled as a news anchor, I want to remain as a news anchor. And yet there's room for me to be an expert on news anchoring.
Yes.
Get to know everything there is.
Exactly.
That if I'm ever to pass it on, I do that with excellence.
Exactly. That's the idea. And then I decided to come here because they told me, do you want to open a new embassy?
Yes.
So I said, yes, where is it? I didn't know where it is.
You had no idea.
No idea. But
wait,
I heard I need to open a new embassy. I said, I'm going for that because it's inventing myself. I will go to a place there was no embassy. I will open. I will find the right place. I will find the right stuff. I will decide on my priorities. What should I want to do? So slowly, I learned in depth also about Rwanda, and I
Wow. What is the
decided.
difference between you representing your country in another country compared to you representing your country in the UN, for example?
Yes, of course, it's
What is the
totally
difference?
different.
Oh.
It's called conference diplomacy, multilateral diplomacy. This is the diplomacy that you use, the tools, the toolkit of diplomacy that you use in international organizations, such as the UN, such as the African Union, or such as the European Union, or anything as is it's international organizations. Let's say intergovernmental organizations. So this is one kind of diplomacy. You have to be expert in conference diplomacy, in multilateral diplomacy, because you want to achieve in the room what you want to achieve. You plan yourself what you want to get in this meeting. You plan how to do it. I will take this guy from Italy, this guy from Ghana, and my friend from Germany, and I will ask them to speak on my behalf in order for me to get what I want. Wow. Then I will discuss it secretly with the chairman, and I will get what I want. This is conference diplomacy.
So you convince the others. I've got to learn that.
Yes.
So you convince them, convince a smaller group. As long as they have bought in, then it's easier for you. You've got people to support you.
Exactly. And if you're a chair, it's another thing. You convene friends of the chair. You have your friends. They will talk on your behalf. They will help you to achieve the goals of the committee as a chair. It's very interesting diplomacy. And then there is the bilateral diplomacy. How do I do the bilateral diplomacy? That is what I do here, what I did here. That is when you go for a country, and it's totally different. You have to know the country inside out. You need to go around the country. You need to meet the people. You need to go for the 5 main sectors of any country, which is the government, ministers, the parliament, the academia, the media, the private sector. And you need to know all of them. You need to map. You need to find the right people to meet. You have 100 days to know. You have only one chance for the first 100 days. Then you lose the 100 days.
Yeah.
So
that is what you did in your first 100 days?
Yes.
Wow. Which places had you visited in
addition to the 5 main pillars of a country, you also meet your fellows, diplomats. So you need to meet your other ambassadors in these 100 days to learn about the place, to learn about their priorities, to know what they do, to get ideas maybe, and then you start working.
Wow.
And in the work also, you need to know how to meet people, how to benefit, and we can talk about that.
You've done that quite well, and we will come back to it because I have seen you, and not just me, but a lot of people will testify that you've gone out of way to learn everything there is about the country. But I would love to take you back to, so when they had told you you're going to set up this new embassy, what went into the preparation? How did you prepare yourself to come to East Africa for the first time and to Rwanda in particular?
Well, I must confess, I did not have time to prepare myself. I did read about Rwanda, and because I did not know much. So I did start reading when I got the job. I got the job in November 18, and I came here first time in February 2019. But in the meantime, I had to do my own job in the ministry. No one replaced me. Usually this is the case. Also now my successor, she's heading the US department in the ministry. No one replaced her, and she doesn't have time to get ready. That's how it is. So I read a bit, but I did read about the place. There was a team that was here to prepare the ground for a new embassy in the sense of the place and what, the services that you need to get, etc. So I read the report
Okay.
to know where I'm going. But I really didn't have much time. I must say, I didn't have much time to prepare myself.
Well,
I started working really when I got here.
mm,
But I had a very good advisor at the time, Rwandan person. I will not mention his name because
yeah.
maybe he doesn't want. But he
He
did.
made it easy for
He
you to
made it
settle
easy for
in.
me. 100%.
Yeah.
And he prepared the list of my first meetings. He knows the place,
Yeah.
and he insisted to be my advisor. Before I came, I met him in Tel Aviv. Actually, he was studying there. So
Oh.
he helped me a lot. You need to choose the right people, by the way, as a manager.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Because you will not do everything on your own.
exactly.
And yet, when you have good people, they'll also help make your load easier.
Exactly. So part of the
Yeah.
skills of ambassador in this case is to as a
Choose.
first embassy,
First embassy is to choose the
ambassador,
right
to
people.
choose the right people, and I'm very happy about the people I chose.
Yeah, because you're setting the foundation for the rest of the years. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. So, how would you say the 4 years have been? What's your experience been like?
Oh, this is so large question. So, so you started to ask me about how I learned this place, and one of the things that I did very thoroughly is to go around the country, you know. So still there are people in Rwanda who tells me that they've not been in all these places that I've been in Yamasheke, in Kirehe, in Yagatare, or elsewhere.
Yeah.
They've not been there because it's far. So I say, what do you mean it's far? It's your country.
Take a bus.
Do something.
Ride a
Do
bicycle.
something.
Yeah.
Ride a bicycle.
Yes.
By the way, it's not easy.
It's not easy.
To get in Yamasheke for a road by bicycle.
No, if you have many days, you can
I'm
rest.
mentioning Yamasheke because it's very far. It's really the farthest place. But of course, there are other districts. So it was important for me to go to districts all over the country to meet the mayor, to meet the vice mayors, and to learn in depth the challenges of a district. Every district is different, you know. Every district has a character, has a very different potential, and I learned how to really what can we do together? What are the challenges? And I also asked everyone the emihigo, if you know what it means. The
Yes, I
emihigo,
do.
Of course, the goals that you set, and so did you reach? And if not, why? And what are the challenges?
What are the challenges you encountered?
So I did not come as a as an inspector. No, I came in order to know what are the challenges and what are the barriers and how can we maybe help.
Yeah.
Specifically. So I mapped all districts, I mapped all mayors. Wherever I want to talk to any mayor, I have all the people, and if someone calls me, you say. But the main thing is to know the place. And I also, one more thing before the next, was important for me to connect to the youth. And we get there, of course.
Yes.
But the youth is the current, is the present and the future of this country. And the youth is for me was important to connect through the youth to the whole country and the people to people, you know, and through art and culture we will get there.
Yeah,
so how can I say, 4 years, it's been exciting.
It's been exciting. Are you feeling sad that you're leaving?
Of course. Of course, I'm very sad. But a person should not be sad. So, because it's bad energies. So, you have to acknowledge, you have to persuade yourself that it's the right thing to do. That is a must, because that's life. And then I tell myself, I'm working on myself, because otherwise I would be depressed.
Yeah.
So, and it's not good to be depressed. No. So, every ending is also a new beginning.
It's also a new beginning.
And every new beginning is fascinating, and life is full of new beginnings, and that's what makes life interesting.
Yeah.
And especially if you invent yourself. And I'm planning to do that, to invent myself.
After this, yeah.
So that's exciting. That's how life goes and goes in a way, in a fascinating way.
We're taking a break.
Yes.
When we come back,
Mm-hmm.
I want to know of the lessons that you have learned.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we Africans have a habit of traveling far off to learn lessons. Now, I want to know, this Israeli man, what lessons have you learned from Rwanda and Africa that you're taking back home with you?
That's very important.
Yes, we will be back in a short while. Thank you for joining us on The Real Talk. Welcome back. This is The Real Talk on RTV. My name is Jackie Lumbasi. Our guest is Dr. Ron Adam, the outgoing Israel ambassador to Rwanda. We're proudly coming to you from the Israel Arts and Media Hub. Ambassador Ron, before we move on, before we get back to my question on lessons, let me read you some messages that I got online from people that you interacted with. There's a gentleman called Jerusalem UG, who said, this man deserves a medal and a Rwandan name before he goes. I saw him give all of himself to Rwanda. I saw him in so many initiatives to make Rwandan lives better. When it's said, normally, do what you do with your heart and give it the best, because someone is always watching. And clearly, everything you've done, the things you did effortlessly, people noticed and appreciated. There's King Gabo, and he's a friend of yours. You met him, you visited him.
Of course.
He said to my friend Ambassador Ron, your country brought you here, and now it's time to say goodbye. I know very little about politics and diplomacy, which was the purpose of your stay. What I truly know is that your kindness and humility will be remembered forever. Beautiful. There's also a tribute from Mireille, who said, one good morning in 2019, I stepped out of the lift heading to the office as usual, but this time we welcomed a new neighbor on the same floor. And she says down there, though sad to bid farewell to Ambassador Ron as the first ambassador of Israel to Rwanda, this is just a goodbye. Your authenticity and ability to connect with the young and old, the students and heads of state, the graduates and CEOs, while being genuine and a friend to all, is a unique leadership quality and ability.
My friend Mireille, thank
Your
you.
friend Mireille. And we all have learned something from you. Personally, your humility is something that I love so much. And if ever I become a leader, I'm not yet there, if I ever become a leader, I will definitely want to emulate you. Get back to my question on lessons. What lessons are you leaving Rwanda with, Ambassador Ron?
So, by the way, I really thank you for. I mean, I thank all my friends and they are very touchy messages that I also saw, and I'm very thankful for all of you who wrote anything. So, I learned a lot. First of all, I learned proportions. Although my life I take always when I'm in this is advice that I give whenever you are in trouble, you feel tense, you feel it's the end of your world. Proportions. There's always a worse situation. Always, it can be much worse. So just control yourself and the benefit of what you have and where you are. So first of all, I learned proportions because I've never been in Africa, and I saw how people live, and there are still many, many places of poverty, and people are poor. Many people, but they're smiling. They're happy. Yeah. You go to the street, you see people are waving, and children, and maybe they didn't eat anything in the morning or
but they're smiling.
Day, but they're smiling, and that's so fun, and that's great. First of all, that's great, and it fills you with good energy. And whenever I will come here, I will go around, of course, to villages. And by the way, that happens to everyone who comes here. It's not so. Of course, everyone who comes here fall in love, but that's not your question. Fall in love with this place, and I can explain how and why. But what I took, in addition to proportions in life, is consuming less. Just consume less. Consume what you can have. Don't think about, in Israel we have such a huge supermarkets with so many kinds of, only yogurts you have about 100 sorts. Yeah. You know it from other countries. You know it from Kenya. And so when I came, when there was limited things to buy, and I was happy. Yeah,
you loved that difference.
Some consume less. You don't need everything. You don't need to buy all the time. Food, and you throw. I never throw food because I'm a second generation of Holocaust survivors, and they didn't have bread and they didn't have food, so I never throw food. Me personally, I never throw food. So I buy exactly.
I have seen that actually.
Seen
I've gone for lunch with you.
Yes.
And very little. You were having salad on that day.
Yeah.
Very little leaves.
Yes.
Remained on your plate.
Yes.
And you actually asked for them to. You asked them to pack it for you.
Yes.
You took it away. So I didn't say how that moment. There was something I learned at that particular moment. But then I was also just thinking, this man. There's different levels to frugality, but this ambassador is really frugal. But you have that as a principle. You don't throw food.
No, and I take exactly the amount I need. So here you learn not to take in proportion your consumption. You don't need to buy everything. You don't need to buy. It's good also for you and also for Earth. Also for the environment. And also I got proportions about money.
Okay.
So for me, $10 not such a big deal. Yeah. But here, as I was mentoring mentees, I had a few during the years. And it was exciting, by the way. I can talk about it if you want. But they only need 10, 12K a week. Yeah, just to survive, to buy Fanta, for motors. And even one of my mentees, he gets 12K and he gives to his mom half because she doesn't have enough money. Can you imagine? And that makes him happy.
And he gets by. He survives. The 6K.
And he survives. And wow, I learned how to treat money in a different way. And how $10 matter.
It's precious.
Precious. So this is a very important thing. And I really call everyone to come and to get these proportions, to get to consume less and to value money better after being here.
Yeah.
So this is about. So this is not about emotion so much, but about consumption. But emotionally, I learned a lot about people, about kindness, about humility, even. And it was amazing.
Okay. Were there any similarities between where you're coming from and this place that became your home?
Yeah, so this is the whole
thing. If you
thing.
can share that with us.
It's the whole thing. It's the similarities. It's the whole thing that connects me to this place.
What is that?
So, Holocaust and genocide against the Tutsi, it happened in a difference of 50 years, but it is copy-paste, which is mind-boggling, of course. How can it happen 50 years later?
Human beings don't learn, huh?
Don't learn.
Yeah, we don't learn.
But they do learn. These guys who did the genocide, they learned from the worst. They learned from Hitler what to do. And that was, but never mind that. Being a second generation of Holocaust survivors, I met survivors. So I actually, as if I met my mom. My mom survived. She was 9 years old. She was in a concentration camp in Germany. When she was 9, she lost her childhood. And that Selina Wineza, who is a person who was 9 years old, was taken to Kabgai, like a camp, and lost her family. And I connected.
You imagined your mom at that age.
As if I connect to my mom. And my mom never told me anything. Not my father too. They both were in a Holocaust. So I connect with the first generation as a second generation. I connect with second generation also. of survivors. And for me, it was something unique. No one can do it. No one can replace me in this sense, in that sense, because it's unique. And I really connected to the hearts of people.
Yeah.
And I took it much further. So for example, the issue of second generation transmission of trauma, which probably I myself have something that is transmitted as my parents' trauma in the Holocaust. So the whole basket of mental health, which I promoted here through conferences to raise awareness. The youth should know that there is a way out of stress, of depression. You can talk to someone. You don't have to go for drugs or for alcohol or for violence. No, you can treat yourself, and there is a way. It's not stigmatic anyway. It should not be. It's part of life, and so I really did a lot in that issue. I financed as far as I could conferences, raising awareness to mental health, raising the awareness to the fact that trauma can be transmitted in DNA through DNA, and it is facts. I brought some, practitioners and psychologists, and they spoke about it. And we gather youth, and we made a PR about this, so that we can make a change here.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing to do.
Save a generation.
Exactly.
If you're going to, if the current generation will be helped to find healing, then
Yes.
or find better ways of
Healing and sharing and telling the story. So I also helped to promote culture of writing and reading. I have many partners that I did this activity with.
Yeah.
Of promoting
the culture of reading and writing. They say that art is therapeutic, and there's a reason I came here with you, because I know you've spent a lot of your time in this country visiting, mentoring, and talking to artists in the different lines of it: musicians, painters, and weavers, and all these other people.
Yes.
And is it because it was coming from a personal point? Were you trying, now that you've just talked about trauma and depression and all, were you looking for that healing for yourself, and this place provided a safe space for that?
So personally, I am a hidden artist. Yes. My first job in life was a graphic design. I was a graphic designer.
Oh, wow.
And my first money that I did was from designing. I designed logos and I sold them. I designed stamps. We had stamps in the past.
Yeah, we did.
Remember this thing we put on the
I saw them.
and
some of these young people didn't, but I did.
No.
Yeah.
But there was such a thing. So we had to design stamps and posters, and that's what I did for money. Not much, a little bit money, which I started my life with. And that was my first passion. And so I have also paintings. Recently, one of my mentees is an artist, and I showed him my artworks, and he was shocked. He did not get any idea that I am really painting. So
I'm also just getting to know.
Not such a huge, but I did paint with oil. I painted with graphic, with pen. Anyway, but I moved on because I was not accepted to a school which I wanted to study, the School of Art in Israel, very high level. They thought I'm too nerd. I'm not a typical artist, So I was boring for them. I was too boring, that they didn't take me. So then I had to find something else. I decided I will study political science because I was always interested in politics. Politics in the good sense, not in the bad sense. Politics, I mean, history of international relations and history of other things. And I was also interested in history, so that's what I studied at the end, which brought me to be, at the end, also a diplomat.
Yeah.
Because I did have it in my dreams to be a diplomat. I had it in my dreams.
You did?
I remember it very well, that I wanted to be a diplomat.
At what age did you start dreaming?
I think already 16.
Oh, That was a young age.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. And by the way, I was not accepted also to the ministry first time that I applied. So I applied a second time, and then I was accepted. So people don't have to fear of failing. No, it's good. You learn and you
learn from
try
it.
again.
Yeah.
You try again until you get it.
Having interacted with a lot of Rwandan youth and youth around the world, considering you've served in different places, and I've been to Israel, a very strict country. Everyone goes through military training and all.
Yes.
Different countries, different systems. So if you have interacted with youth around the world, what do you say would be is the unique aspect of the Rwandan youth, and what sort of opportunities are there for them?
So I must say, I don't think I interacted too much with youth around the world, I must say.
Oh, this was the first time you were all out?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But if you ask me about Rwandan youth,
Let's talk about the Rwandan youth then.
they are so talented.
They're talented.
Oh.
That's good to hear.
They are so talented. They're so smart. You just have to take them one like that, scaling up,
Yeah.
Because there are so many there are so many scientists in potential that are fetching water every day with the yellow jerry cans in the villages. And they are busy in doing that half a day, And even when you finish high school, you go back, you are good in high school, you're good. You go back to the village, and you don't have.
You continue fetching water.
Exactly.
Yes.
Or making a charcoal and bringing charcoal.
Yeah.
You're busy in the basic work of the house, and so I had a project which I wrote about. I hope that it will be implemented. That maybe it's a good timing to say. So I had a mentee who was very good in school, but he went back to home after the school, and he really did what I described. Yes, so he was busy by nothing. I mean, really nothing. It's important tasks of the house, but it's nothing for the nation. It doesn't bring any.
It's not progressive. It will not take you anywhere. Yeah.
Exactly, and that doesn't take anyway in the for the country. Yeah. So I decided I buy him a computer and internet. Wow. Yes. So computer costs $350 and internet costs $60 for the box, and then $10 for a month. Not a big deal for me. It was not a big deal, and it's not a big deal for I don't know who. For example, for the country or for the private sector, let's say, or banks. Let's say a bank that does so many. I don't want to name now banks, but they know the bank that does very well. Okay, so take the 3,000. I made the calculations and I got the numbers from the examination authority and the REB and everyone. There are about 3,200 excellent students who finish every year. Not big number. They get all A's, right? All A's.
They all pass very well.
There are only 3,000 of them. Give them a computer. You know what he did to my mentee? He connected to the world. He applied to universities. He learned English. He continued the journey because he was a good student, but he could apply. So now he's ALU and he's very happy, and it's amazing. Yeah. Otherwise, he won't be anywhere. Still fetching water.
That's true.
And
all they need is support.
They need a computer, and the calculation is $1.8 million a year. That's all. So bring me a bank, give these guys a computer, the 3,000 of them, and at least you save the best.
Yeah. And once you've given them a way of earning a living, eventually they will pay back that money.
Of course,
they will. Yeah,
to the country.
Yes, to the country they will.
They will be. Yeah, they will go. They will learn, and they come back. They will be beneficial for the country. We need more skilled people. We need more engineers. We need more software engineers.
That's very true.
We need people, we need skilled people for the industry that we need here, for the international companies that should come here.
Yeah.
So, anyway, what was your
I
question?
get the point. It got lost, don't worry.
I got lost.
And we will be going to 6Qs. I love 6Qs. It's very quick questions. And we might just have to change the dress code because of that particular segment. But we will see.
Okay, let's see.
But before we get there, so in the time you've been here, you've made very many friends. Some got really close and became almost families. The people that you're mentoring, some of them you've met their family members. And I just wanted to know, are there chances of you coming back to this country? Coming back.
Yes, there is a chance.
Ali, you said people fall in love and for different reasons.
Yes, for sure. You cannot really...
Tell me what you fell in love with and what will bring you back. Because I have a feeling something will bring you back.
Yeah. So you fall in love with this country generally because I fell in love with the journey of this place. And it's a young nation after all, if we count from, let's say, 2000, 2001, when they started to get somewhere after genocide against the Tutsi, which left them with nothing, zero, total zero. The only thing that the perpetrators did not take with them were the roads. But they took everything else, all the money, all the buses, all the cars, everything. So they left with nothing. So really I count 20 years. So it's a young nation. Of course, we have a long way, very long way to go. And but I can say
we're taking steps in the right direction.
I can say there is a visionary man who leads this country.
Yeah.
And he sets very far goals. He put this point here and there, and then we have to walk and achieve it. And that's what happens. Yeah. That's what really happens. And yes, sometimes we can do things faster, and I have an idea how to do it, maybe some ideas. But the goals are there, the vision is there, and thank God, we have such a leader here.
Yeah.
Yeah? And let's pray that he will continue doing what he does for so many years to go. So I actually fell in love with the journey.
I can hear that in your voice. So you're certainly coming back.
I will, for sure. I will come back for sure.
We're talking to the outgoing Israeli ambassador to Rwanda. They are coming to you from Izere Arts and Media Hub. When we come back, the ambassadors 6Qs. Welcome back to The Real Talk on RTV. We're coming to you from Izere Arts and Media Hub, and our guest is Dr. Ron Adam. Ambassador Ron, when I asked about the lessons that you've learned, I was looking for something which I felt like you didn't touch on, but I'm glad that you talked about the emotional aspect of it.
Yes.
But
So,
besides that, there's
yes,
something else.
There is something which I wanted to mention. It is every country should learn from the homegrown solution of Rwanda. Homegrown solutions are institutions or processes that were used during the kingdom and were accepted by all people of Rwanda as tools to the best governance and the best way of living. So homegrown solutions, of course, people know Umuganda, but Gachacha became famous when they brought it back for the trials after genocide in year 2000, 2002. The way of the judicial process in your grass, in the neighborhood,
Within the community.
within the community. But there are homegrown solutions such as Umushichirano or other tools that are used now that are something that everyone should learn from. And I did recently a presentation about, I called it the Rwandan Secret. The Rwandan Secret is the current use of homegrown solutions. Okay. The Rwandan Secret is that it builds now on solutions that were brought from the past. And for example, we in Israel, we should learn about things that are used now. For example, the process of president talking to people.
Yes.
It's unique,
It's
gathering
unique.
everyone in one room. Asking people, anyone can ask questions from here and from there and from everywhere. Today is live on with videos, live on somehow it's brought to life, but in the past it was on the ground, of course. And then they ask the minister, the governor, the mayor that in charge on
also the different departments. They're all there to answer questions.
Why is it doesn't work? But this is amazing.
That's amazing.
This every country should adopt. And also our country. And this is just one solution, but there are so many. There are 10 of them that are used today, and it's an amazing thing. And thank you for the RCI, the Rwandan Cooperation Initiative, which now shows these homegrown solutions for foreigners. This is their job. And that is a very good thing to show. It's the Rwanda Agency for Cooperation.
They recently had the launch and you were there, I remember.
Exactly.
Yes.
I was there.
Let's go to the 6 Qs. A few quick questions, Ambassador Ron.
Yes.
What don't people know about you? That's my first question.
Yes. One thing I would say, maybe people don't know, is that I'm a chef. Not too many people know. And
we've learned a lot about you today. You're a graphics designer.
Exactly.
Now you're a chef.
I'm a chef. So I like.
You're a diplomat.
I like cooking very much. Cooking is really keeping me. It's like yoga for me. I don't do yoga. It's too complicated. But cooking, I love it. It's a passion, and I cook very well. I think you tasted my food. And it is it's amazing thing. I like nice presentation. I like good food. I invest a lot of thinking.
You also use food to bring people together.
Exactly.
Yes.
That is the secret. So every now and then I had dinner with people from Rwanda, and sometimes they knew each other because of my dinner, and it was great.
Yeah, that was amazing.
This is one thing I think people don't know.
And one thing that those that know will miss about you.
Thank you.
What is the favorite place in Rwanda? Your favorite place in Rwanda?
So I think this thing everyone knows already because I tweeted about it. My favorite place is Karongi. By far, I mean, of course, there's so nice places. I like very much, by the way, Nyungwe and the oxygen there that comes from the trees. But such a beautiful landscape and view that is coming from, let's say, I really, should I mention the name of a hotel? I can. It's
no, until they start paying us for advertisement.
Anyway, there's so
no, but you can mention the hotel. We know the hotel already.
Yeah, it's okay. But the beautiful view, it's like even nicer than, it's the nicest that I saw in my life. Wow. But maybe I was not, I don't know, I was never been in New Zealand or I don't know which places. Philippines, they say it's nice. I've not been in Hawaii. I've not been in many places, but this is by far now the number one. And what I must say about this place is the way to that place is very bad.
The drive through the forest is heavenly.
No. The drive from Muhanga to Karongi, there is a very, very bad road. And
there's a bad road there.
This needs to be corrected.
It was under construction.
For 4 years, it's mine 4 years and a half since I came. It's under construction.
Oh goodness!
And there's so many holes, and that's pity because it's the place for tourism. And if I could go for 2 hours and 15 minutes to Karongi instead of go around the country 5 hours, I think tourism would be flourished there. And I don't know what happened, but the road is still bad.
If you're watching and you're the person responsible for that road, please do something about it. Glad you brought it up. Question number 3, what will you miss most about this country?
The people, for sure. I will miss the people who got very close to me. Yeah. Of course, I can miss I will miss the weather, by the way, because weather here is more or less the same all year. Very comfortable, 22 to 20. There is nowhere else that we have winter and summer. So summer can get to 45 degrees today, winter can get to -10. It's freezing. So here it's 22 to 28, except if you go far away in the forest of the north. But otherwise, it's very nice. The weather, the people, and the cleanliness, the beautiful streets.
Did you ever try out our food? Yeah. Did you ever try out our food? Will you miss some Rwandan dishes? You're a chef. Did you cook only your kind of food? Did you make some sombe in your house?
So, yeah, so I, what should I say?
I want to know the food you'll miss.
You know, there are a lot of good restaurants in Kigali.
Yeah.
And some people know that I have a list of restaurants, and I rank them, and it's a very nice. The culinary here did very well, so I'm very happy about that.
My question of what you will miss has not been answered, but it's okay. We'll be fine.
No, it was answered. The green, the weather, the people.
What has the potential to keep you awake at night? What is it about life?
Well, sometimes I'm not awake at night, but I wake up very early. Because I thought, once I read a book which says, don't waste your time in sleeping. Just wake up, do something, read something, you know. Shimon Peres was one of the fathers of our nation, and he also wrote about it. So I sleep 5 hours. It's not enough. 5.5, 6 hours. It's not much. But what keeps me awake is thoughts. What should I do? Where should I go? Whom should I meet? One thing I didn't tell you is the way I work is I read the newspaper every day. I see who is doing the news, who is making news, what's new. I mean, in the good way. Someone is an artist did that, and some singer did that, or some ministry did a new thing. How many eggs people eat children eat, or how much milk they drink in a day, and so who is in charge on that, and. So I asked to meet the people. You know?
Wow!
I see
you find them in the newspapers and you ask to meet them.
That's how I did for 4 years.
Wow!
Yeah,
that's incredible.
So that keeps me always awake. Who should I meet?
You spend time writing the list.
I write in the night.
Okay, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Ambassador Ron, and you've talked about Rwandans loving you, showing you love. You know, I believe you received what you gave. Honestly, if you ask me, my interaction, my observation of you, you only got back what you gave out to the Rwandan people. And we will always, appreciate the time that you spent here, and do hope that we will have you back soon. We also hope that the next phase of your life will be as beautiful. We're glad that this becomes the highlight and the peak of your career. You've said it's done. You're not going to go for less, so we appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you for your authenticity, for your genuine love, and for just being you.
Thank you very much.
I want you to have the last say on the show, your parting shot. What is it you want to say? Not me asking you a question. Say something from the bottom of your heart.
It's like making a statement, and I don't think after this hour it's needed. But if you, like you spoke about what is the secret, how did I do that? And of course, I recommend everyone, if that might be the last point, is to stay humble.
Stay humble.
I think people really respect you much better if you are humble.
Wow.
And I don't plan it, of course. I grew up on that. My parents were humble. My brother, we never jealous on anything. And jealousy is bad. And just stay humble. I have all my mentees, I tell them, oh, you reached very high now. Please, stay humble. Don't get lost.
Don't let it get
exactly.
It
doesn't let you change your character. No, the success. So stay humble.
I appreciate that. Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jackie.
It's been a great pleasure having Dr. Ron Adam on the show with us, the outgoing Israel ambassador to Rwanda, and we do wish him all the best. If you have any questions, kindly ask or comments. Use the hashtag #TheRealTalk. It's been great coming to you from the Izere Arts and Media Hub. We will see you next week. God bless you.